All right. Today we're going to talk about why your life matters. So, welcome. I'm going to wait for a moment for people to come in. Feel free to say where you're coming from. I'm in California, by the way. All right. Welcome. This is a pop up. So, pop up live. Okay. So, we'll just, this is inspired because yesterday was the over 20 years. I think the 21st. Welcome. 21st anniversary since my friend Elliot died 21 years ago. And at first, they didn't know what the cause was. It's still an open case. But at first, we thought it was a suicide, but now we don't. And so I just really want people to know I'm a psychologist in my day job and a mom. And I want people to know how important your life is, that your life matters, and this isn't just someone saying it, and your voice matters, and that you're here on this earth. I think that the people, and I just heard about 3 more teens in the last 2 weeks who committed that, and I don't want to say it too much because I don't know if this will get flagged or where it goes to, but we're talking about your life matters because it does matter. And one of the things I was reflecting on today, I do this whole series called Sessions with Dr. Cheryl. And so my name is Dr. Cheryl Meier. If you're just finding me today, welcome. I teach people here how to equip your lives with this knowledge and this understanding of basically why you're here. And come here, Leia. Come here. My dog's over there. Let's see if she'll do a cameo. She's so cute. Lele. Princess Leia. Huh? Anyway, so now I am a Christian, but I welcome people of all faiths. Welcome. And so thanks. Thanks. Someone gave me a thumbs up, then headed back to work. All right. And so, or maybe they're still here. Sometimes it doesn't show. Hi, welcome. We're talking today. Oh, good. Welcome, Frankie. That's awesome. And I just said it. I was just inspired to say it. I don't always just say it. I'm in Southern California. That's where I am. And so I was saying, yes, I am a Christian, but I welcome people of all faiths. But I was reflecting on people who have been depressed lately and not known their real purpose in this life and not knowing. Okay. Well, welcome. You're welcome. Sometimes this is actually what we were going to talk about, Donald. Is we were going to talk about a little bit about addictions, why people go to addictions. Sometimes when we don't know our real worth and we don't know why our life matters, we will sometimes, okay, so what we do is I'm a psychologist on my day job, but yes, thank you. Let's stay on this topic. That's good, AJ. Is sometimes what we do is we internalize what happened to us in childhood. And so I know it's cliche for a psychologist to say, oh, go back to your childhood. But understand, from age 0 to about 8, they say we form 85 to 95% of our personality. And so when our parents treat us a certain way, welcome everyone, welcome, then we internalize their actions. So they could say, I love you and you're the best, and say all these things. But if they're really insecure about themselves and they don't know their real purpose, and our purpose is not just to like make money on this earth. You are an eternal soul in a physical body. And so you have an eternal purpose, and you have a purpose on this earth for which you're meant to carry out. Now, sometimes what we do is we internalize about all this shame. If our parents don't know their own worth, then they treat us certain ways and they teach us, oh, you're only worth if you earn this, or you're only worth if you do that. And then we internalize that and we carry a lot of shame. And shame is what fuels addictions. And so people will go to addictions, or yeah. I just told you that's awesome. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Summer. Thank you so much. She said I'm pretty. Um, it's hard to go live. It is sometimes, And so, yeah, your life matters because we have an eternal creator that created each of us. And God, and my friend Elliot, he's passed away now, but he had this Oscar nomination once for one of his songs, but he sang this song that says, God don't make no junk. All right. And so God doesn't make junk. And even if you don't believe in God, the same creator created all of us. And so created you with a purpose and knows that purpose. And the more you connect with the divine, with divine love, with this creator, even people, right? I just went on like a 2-hour walk this morning. Even just connecting in nature shows you this worth and this symmetry and harmony of every single thing on this earth, that everything is created with a purpose, and you are more than that. When Jesus was here, he said that God knows every hair that's on your head. And so and knows when every sparrow falls to the ground. And so, though these things happen in this world, and there are people that choose to be evil and mean and cruel, and though those things happen, nevertheless, God still created you with purpose. Um, wow, Donald, sorry about that. I'm not seeing how, Donald. Anyway, Donnie, that's exactly what we're talking about, is when our fathers say those types of things. Donald is bringing up something about, his dad would say certain things, and you can see it in the comments up there, but it's like, um, you know, because I don't always know if people want me to say these things publicly. Welcome, Vicky. And so when our parents, our mother or our father, says something cruel to us, when we're little, we don't have a filter. So we just internalize that and we think it's truth. But we're meant to now discern what is true and let go of what's not true and hold tight to what is true, what is good, what is lovely. And so there's a verse in the Psalms, that's one of my favorites, Psalm 27:10, and I'm not trying to preach at us at all. I'm just saying, it says, when my father and mother forsake me, the I am that I am, the Lord picks me up. And I look at that mystically. I look at that as a Christian, but as mystically for anyone that's joining us that's in any other faith, is understand God is this creator. Whether you know God as the creator or not, this uncreated thing before all things. And so when these temporal people, when they drop me and they forsake me and they say mean things to me, the I am that I am, though it's capital Lord, Yahweh in the Old Testament, he picks me up. He reminds me of this place that's uncreated, that's before all time, before all created things. All created things are derivative. Um, so everything created is derivative, and that means, a form, and forms change. God is this unchanging love, divine love. And so what I have noticed is that, oh yeah, I didn't know if you wanted that there, so that's good there. I didn't want to call you out. I just wanted to help answer your question, Donald. So, perfect. I understand that. And so, I put everything in God's hands, Jorge or George says. For sure. That's what I was just, my computer is uploading right now, a series that I've created, reading a book from the 1700s called Abandonment to Divine Providence. And the whole series is, we're on the 13th hour of reading this book, where you surrender everything to God. And it talks about why that's important to do that. But practically also, people come here and they don't realize that your life matters. Your life matters, for all of these reasons that I've already stated. You can go back and listen to them. Um, but we're sharing here. We're sharing, all of us. I'm being vulnerable and sharing, because uh, all of us, it's not our fault that we internalize, that we took in messages from our parents, uh, that you have to do this or you're not worth anything, or you have to be this or you're not worth anything, or you have to have this much money in your bank. The world systems will tell you this, or you have to have, you have to look like this, or whatever the things are. But your life matters and you matter, and no one else has to agree with you on that. That's the cool news. Is like, for me, I have this faith in God, but I'm not trying to push that on anybody. It's like, with me plus God equals the majority. I have this, here, I'll show you what I have up here. I have this thing. Oh, look, I have both of them up here. I have these hanging over my desk to remind me of these truths. It's God saying, be mine. And I know I forget. I think sometimes when I go live, it goes backwards, but it says, be mine. And it says, me plus you, right? Me plus you. And I have this ancient icon of Jesus that I really like. One of the earliest icons, just a picture of Jesus, a depiction, but it's just an image. But I feel like there's lots of contemplation in that. There's a lot in that one. But look, is me plus you plus God equals a majority. And that's it. That's it. And so the more you lean into this understanding of your true worth in God, the more you can let go of whatever your parents did or said, or whatever. And so one of my like inspirations for going live today, I already said at the beginning, was that one of my friends passed away a number of years ago, and at first we thought he had taken his own life, but now it's an open case and we don't know what happened, and there's lots of different circumstances in it. And he was a famous person. He wrote a song in I got to know him right before he became famous, but a song in a movie called Good Will Hunting, and his name was Elliott Smith. And you know um because of him and my friendship with him, it just has made me quite aware. And even before that, a few of my friends from childhood had that they had died early for the same reason. And I don't want to say it over and over here because I don't know how YouTube flags things all the time. But I have this heart for people that are feeling less than, and the world will tell you you are less than, and the world will tell you all these superficial answers that don't actually work. Okay, and so one of the things that I wrote down today, because I was just reflecting about in relationships. All right, if we're these little children and here's our parents, and our parents are saying, you're not good enough unless you do this, this, and this, or whatever, or I'm not going to pay attention to you, and you get their back, and they are running after money or fame or notoriety, or just, have to be at their job all the time because you're in a place where it costs so much to live that they don't have time to give to you. And when this is happening, or they're into their own addiction. Someone earlier was talking about an addiction that they have. I don't know if they called it an addiction, something that they do regularly. And it's like, we understand when you're in pain, you can run to an addiction to try to get a temporary fix. All right. And so, um, the world will teach us to keep running after these things, and then it's like, oh, I got a bunch of money, and then now I feel good for a second. But back to this child and the parent, is if the child is used to getting the back of the parent, then what happens is oftentimes we will go find someone to be in a relationship. Oh, love you too, thank you, Wesley. All right. We'll go try to find someone in a relationship that's also unavailable. And so I was reflecting, this is why I'm like, I'm gonna say I will be vulnerable with you all, is um and 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 getting deep into your real feelings and your real emotions and your real sadness and your real thoughts is a good thing. It's a good thing. This world will tell you to run away from those things. No, I don't recommend us being identified with all of our old pain, but understanding where it comes from. It's not my fault if my parents ignored me to run after other things and I felt diminished. That's not my fault. And so, with we're the little kids, we look up to these giants and we think, oh, something must be wrong with me that their back is to me. And so, we keep learning how to chase people all the time. And you don't have to chase relationships. The more you know that you're loved and your life does matter, the more other people will just feel great around you because they know that you know that you're loved. And so it's a vicious cycle when you don't know that. That's why I'm here to help equip people know this, because the more you know how loved you are, the more you're just shining this love to other people, and the more they recognize that about themselves. You're just that light turned on in you. You recognize, wait, I am worth something. If, and I used to use this with my clients, this example is like, if there's a dumpster over there and we find a baby in that dumpster, we don't go, oh, if you go to Harvard, you'll be worth something, right? If you do this or that, then you'll be worth something. No, we make sure. In America, here where I live, you can take the baby to a fire station and they'll make sure they don't ask you any questions. They'll make sure that baby gets placed in a loving family, adopted. I mean, I would want to make sure that's a loving family myself, but because I'm just more like that. I just want everyone to be in a loving family. And so you have this capacity now to stop trying to please an unavailable parent in the form of a boss that doesn't like you, some circumstances in life, or some unavailable boyfriend or girlfriend or spouse. Now, I'm not saying leave your relationship. If you're married and you're watching this later, if you're married, then it's important to recognize all of these patterns within you and set higher standards and have better boundaries within your marriage. And the person will either rise to those standards, not like, hey, you're my unavailable parent, now be available or I hate you. It's not like that. It's like you learn how to turn back around and be a good available parent to yourself. And then yeah, and then you exude this love, and then that other person learns how to do that, or they are repelled by all this love that you have now because they picked you when you didn't know your worth. All right. Yes, this guy George or Jorge is saying, when you're in pain, say a prayer. The Lord will hear your prayer. Yeah, there's a word there's a name of God that says the God who hears. I memorized it last week, but I already forgot that name. um it's a Hebrew word. So anyway, but okay, so what I was going to share about this too is welcome, your life is worth. All right, is um when why are okay, so we let's say in a one-way relationship, if a relationship is out there and they're not showing up, and let's say it's not our parents anymore, but we're used to this chasing after our parents' love, thinking it must be our fault, thinking we have to fix something to try to get them to turn back around. And so here's the thought. It's like we see someone else that connected with us at one point and then stopped connecting with us, or we thought they connected with us, or they were planning on it, or whatever, and then they go to an addiction, or they go back to the world, they go back to something else that they think is going to make them feel better in the immediate. Okay. And so we ask ourselves, we say, why are they choosing an addiction or egotism, self-aggrandizement, puffing their own selves up, or chasing pleasures or worldly goods over a true relationship with me? Wait, what happened to me? What's wrong with this? And it's like nothing is wrong with you. We just internalize as a child, there must be something wrong with me, right? And so I have to try to prove my worth to these people. And you don't have to prove your worth. You already are worth. You already are worth. And so it's about understanding, taking a breath, taking a moment, understanding, wait, where did I get my idea of myself? is it true? Is it true that I have to keep trying to please another person to show them I'm worth loving? And so what I wrote underneath this, if you can see, and I don't know, I think it does go backwards with when I'm on this, but when I record a video, it flips back the right way. But what I put underneath that is, why am I chasing? Why am I running after these people that are unavailable? How am I? Okay, here, look, let's say if there's two parts of yourself, this part that still feels like a child that's not loved, and this part that's an adult, you look in the mirror and you go, wait, I'm an adult. When I'm chasing after the people that are chasing after their addictions to try to numb their pain because they don't know they can be forgiven, and they don't know it's not all of that's not their shame to carry. Even if we have, sometimes we thought, look, something's wrong with me because my parents were out here, and so we would start acting in destructive ways or ways to numb ourselves because we just already thought, oh, I'm a loser. You know, there's that. I got to meet Beck and he sings that song, I'm a loser, baby. So why don't you? But anyway, you're not a loser. Okay. But he also sang, I remember he was singing this song, bottles and cans, just clap your hands where it's at. I got two turntables and a microphone. Anyway, I'm not singing like I normally sing, but I got my guitar right here. And so we'll see if a song comes up. But I didn't plan to sing today, but um and so I loved that song. I was backstage when he was singing that, and it was just this whole stadium was just yelling that song out. It was a while back, right? But uh don't someone's saying they don't know themselves anymore. I like or what my personality. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. This person's saying that they don't know themselves anymore. I couldn't even tell you. And I'm not saying your name in case you don't want me to say your name, and I already, you know, if but thank you for sharing. That's exactly, I was sharing some of these similar ideas, and I'll go back to that. Is just when you don't know who you are anymore, sometimes go back to the beginning, because I know you just got here probably. Go back to the beginning after this and watch from the beginning, because I talked about how we internalize our parents' actions. If we're this little child and our parents were out here trying to prove their worth, it's not personal, but we took in this message that you're not worth being present with and loving and cherishing and protecting and all of these beautiful things. You know, I have this rose pin. It's just like, you're not this beautiful sweet smelling flower. All of us are, all of it. I mean, I'm a woman, so I like the rose thing, but you know, you're not this, you know, I also do push-ups. You can't tell, but I do kind of push-ups, but it's like, you're not this strong man, you know. Father and mother are meant to encourage, that's infuse courage and teach you what your real worth is. When you know what your real worth is, then all of the world opens up and you're safe to know this love and to know this personality that you have, to know the real you. Sometimes we don't know ourselves because we internalize so much pain and shame that we've gone to so many addictions to try to numb that. And I teach about depression a lot. Depression is to press down. And so we didn't feel like we were allowed to have this big juicy heart. So we pressed down on it. And that protects us from all these arrows that come in our lives, but it also makes us numb. And when we're numb, people will run to addictions to try to feel a quick high, or they'll run to trying to prove themselves by making a lot of money in a way that might not be the best way to make money, you know, by ways that aren't of the highest integrity, because you don't know. Ah, welcome, welcome. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. The person said I'd subscribed. You guys, there's 200 people in here. Make sure to thumbs up. No, I hear other people saying that. If you want to, go ahead. I don't mind. I'm not deriving my worth from the thumbs up, but then other people will come and they'll learn this. They'll learn about their worth because they'll see that it was worth it, because the world's eyes tell us to look like that. I say always have these hearts in your eyes. Always have the heart emoji eyes. Learn how to be gentle. Learn how to be kind. Be kind to yourself, no matter how much you've fallen. or how much pain you've gone through, or how much you internalize. Like, you're not going to make fun of me because I internalized a negative message if one of my parents was gone all the time. Leia, there's my dog. Come here. She's so cute. She makes us feel so loved. All right, so but I took her on a long walk this morning, that walk I was talking about in nature. All right, so what I was reflecting on is so don't make fun of yourself because you internalized this when you were 3 years old, right? That's not your fault. It's not your fault. Okay. It's one of my favorite lines in the movie my friend's song was in, is it's not your fault, Good Will Hunting. But and so, okay, but I was sharing for a moment of this blissful state when I was watching Beck sing this song, and I can share it with all of us. This Beck is another musician that was signed by the same manager as my friend Elliot. And so it's like when you can just, when you have this confidence, and I don't know how Beck had this, but when you have it and you can just go out there and you can be like, all I got is two turntables and a microphone. Here, I got my mic, right? And it's like, I got two turntables and a microphone, where it's at. Even that, I always get songs that teach us these deeper meanings that I'm teaching about. And so it's like you don't have to have much. You don't have to have anything. Just trust that you were made for a purpose. And as you start being loving to yourself, instead of taking in all these negative messages that you took from getting the back of their head, how about if I was teaching you this whole thing with the back of my head to you? Like, not a lot of us would stick around for that unless we thought that's what we're worth. No, you're worth my face. You're worth love. You're worth the fullness of love. That's why I showed up live today. I was inspired to show up. And so there's new people seeing this, but it's like, your life matters. And I'm here to tell you that because it's a truth. Even if I don't know you, I know your life matters. Okay, we were going back to that example of, if I found a baby in a dumpster, I wouldn't go, oh, you're worth something if you achieve great things. And it's like, no, this baby is worth loving and cherishing right now. That's you. That's you. All right. And so you're worth the highest truths and the highest knowing and the highest love and the highest of integrity, and people showing up and being intimate and close to you in your life and teaching you you're worth a real relationship. You're worth this. Yes, exactly. And realize a lot of things that you can relate. Okay, so that's so awesome. That's so awesome, Jorge, because I always bring up the scripture not to scare people or intimidate people. Um, but there's so many stories in the Bible, in the scriptures, that teach us this. When Jesus said, God knows the number of hairs on your head. And he says, aren't 5 sparrows only worth a penny if you go sell them in the marketplace for some reason, right? And he's like, yet God knows when every sparrow falls to the ground. And Jesus said so many other profound things. I just put a 1-minute reel up from a mix. I did a whole hour yesterday, about 55 minutes of an hour, where it says man talks on the front. It's sessions with Dr. Cheryl, and it was talking about 10 things men can do to let's see, to have to stop doing to be more attractive, confident, and self-led. Well, I was reviewing his, but one of the things that I said in that is, and I didn't know, I was just inspired to say it while I was reviewing this guy's talk to men, because I have 2 sons and I have 2 brothers, and my 2 guy cousins moved in with us too. So I've been around a lot of men, and I want to raise them well, and I just have a heart for people, men and women. All right, but is that Jesus was in that session I was talking about how Jesus went and cleared out the temple. Well, he cleared out the temple because he said, this is meant to be a house of prayer, and you've made it into a den of robbers. And one time I was reading this commentary from the 1100s or something, and it was saying, don't you know, it was saying something like this, that when you ask Jesus to be in your life, he will clean the robbers out of your temple as well. And I'm like, yes, clean them out. All these people that came in when I was little, and through the form of lies, that told me lies about my real worth. All right. And so God will help you clear those out. just like because he was in the lineage of King David and King Solomon, it was his right and his duty, as in that royal lineage, the King Solomon who built that temple, for Jesus to go in, and he didn't do it out of this wrath, anger thing that like we would project onto him. It says he braided a whip of cords. So he made it, and cleaned out the people that were, what they were doing is people were coming in there because they wanted to be close with God. And there were money changers in there that said, oh, you have to buy 3 doves for this sacrifice. I'm going to charge you $25 when really they're worth 25 cents. But these people would travel from a long way and not bring doves. And it's like they couldn't be made right with God in the Old Testament in that way until they bought these things. And so they would use them. And so we internalize all these lies, and these lies, shame fuels addiction. And then these lies make us feel shame about ourselves. And then we run to addictions, or we don't know our worth and we don't know this purpose. Um, uh, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's not offensive at all. This person's saying, and I'll share it with us because it's in the comments, is like, I never gave religion a thought, but as we get older and have 2 daughters or children of our own, we think about it, maybe of missing a part. And it's the word religion is about relinking. And if we have a creator, whether people know this or not, it's like Jesus came to relink us to the creator. Adam and Eve brought us away. They brought us into death for some mysterious way. They chose less than, and Jesus came to bring us back and give us a new start. And he said, the thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy. I have come that you may have life and have it abundantly. And so Jesus said about Satan, about the enemy of our soul, that he's a liar from the beginning. So he's the father of lies. He also called him that. But it's like, so he tells us all these lies we internalize from the absence, from the action of our parents being absent. And so we internalize those lies, but we are not those lies. And the more we actually get a true understanding of the creator, not now there are a lot of religions that will teach God correctly and will teach God as that God is love, and that God is just, and all of these things, and help you form this good relationship with God, but not keep God in this tiny box. Um, but it doesn't mean, oh, everything goes, I was saying in that video. Um, yeah, okay, so wonderful, wonderful. All right, and so I see some of it I'm gonna do my best to stay on this as well. I'm so glad you are here, and you can talk amongst each other as well. I'm so glad each of you are here today. Each of you showed up. So okay, and I want to be present with what you're saying too. That's why I did come. I'm gonna tell him. Whoops. It froze for a second. Hopefully you can still hear me. All right. Hoping that this is still here for you guys. Welcome. Let's see. Oh, good. You have no sound. I mean, you have sound, but no picture. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, it froze here. But what happened was I got a call from my son, even though I put it on Do Not Disturb so it wouldn't pull us out of this. I wasn't sure if he wanted me to pick him up from school. And so hopefully the picture will come back. Um, uh, anyway, all right, hold on. Because sometimes he doesn't. Let's see. I'll cover this and see if it... Wow. All right. Okay, let's, hopefully the picture will come back. Let me see if all right, I'll keep talking and I won't panic. Yeah, I know. I like that picture to come back though. So it's you have an interaction, but that's okay. I'll just keep talking for a few. It's still okay. So I was asking myself, and this is us being vulnerable, is why am I chasing this unavailable person? Why am I chasing that? Instead of showing up for a real surrendered, I put intimate relationship with my creator, my redeemer, with Jesus Christ, the one who comforts me. And I put my redeemer is Jesus Christ, right? God is our creator. The one who comforts me is the Holy Spirit. He's called the Holy Spirit. All right, let's see. I'm going to do my, all right, now it's back. I just closed it out. It still says I'm live. Let's see. Good, good, good. I had to close it out and come back. Oh, right. Welcome. Okay. And so, let me know when if you see this. Okay. You're back. Good. I closed it. I risked closing it out and, then the whole live would shut down, and I didn't want that to happen because I like it in one piece. If we can. Okay. So, I'm so glad. So what I was saying is like, wait a second. If we look at, let's just do the back of these magnets. All right. There's these two people, and here's like the girl, and it can be the guy anyway. They're going, why is this guy over here running to his addictions or running to other women or running, if you just started dating and they're like, no, I don't choose this or whatever. It's like when it seemed like it seems like it was going to be mine, it seemed like that. It's like, wait, if they walk away, let them go. But you don't know that if you don't know your worth. When you know your worth, then it's what they call it in psychology language, like a secure attachment. And so what I've found over 20 years of being a psychologist is the more you make the initiative too, and God will make the initiative. God's already making the initiative by bringing you here today, because I'm speaking on God's behalf because I love God and I work for God, right? Is that God is love. And the more you walk towards love, there's a verse that says, draw near to God and God will draw near to you, or that God rewards those who diligently seek him. And God is above he and she. This is just creator, help me. I want to know a real intimate relationship. And so sometimes if our parents were distant, I did my whole dissertation on this, we think that God is distant just like this because we experience the back of their head. And so we just think God must be like that as well. And so God is not like that. But if we took in all that shame and like we were talking about earlier, these lies that we don't matter and that we have to earn our worth and all these things, when we take in these lies, then we keep operating in our lives from those lies instead of from the truth. And the truth is what Jesus said is, I have come to give you life and give it to you abundantly. The thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And so he has no mercy. He will destroy you by tricking you in every single way possible in this earth, by trying to get your parents to go to earn their worth other ways and go, oh, you have to be absent from the house all the time because you have to earn this money to take care of your kids. Like he'll trick them in all these different ways, but you won't know this worth or feel it. And you're meant to know it and experience it. And so it's important to ask yourself, wait a second, if God wants to have this close relationship with me here, like praying, right? Awesome, Yacht. Okay, if God wants to have this close relationship with me, thanks so much for encouraging me not to panic, because sometimes, and this is not just a stereotype. Like we have more estrogen as a woman, and so sometimes we'll be more emotional. They say we're like three wavy lines, and men are like straight lines. They'll just go from here to here, and be logical. And you men can say stuff like, don't panic, and we can receive that and be like, oh yeah, okay. It helps calm our waters, and then our effusive loving nature helps bring you out of just this, okay, we're talking about point A to point B. I talked to this one guy and he's like, but what was the main point of your video? And I'm like, go watch it. I'm not gonna, I don't know. I mean, I did, I had like 3 main points, but anyway, I wrote them down for today. And so I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. See, every single person is here on this earth for a reason. And so, like, I will say this sometimes, that's funny. Well, it's important. I have a logical mind as well. I did like almost a perfect score on my logical part, my analytical part of my. So we look like we're all separate, but we're all connected. We are really all connected. And so if one part is not working, then the other parts are affected. And so this is another reason your life matters, is because we are all connected. And the more you know how loved you are and how much worth it is that you personally are on this earth, the more other people will start waking up to that truth as well. And so a lot of this came out of, yesterday was the anniversary of Elliot's passing, my friend Elliot, who passed away. And, and he had in his song, God Don't Make No Junk, but it's plain to see he still made me. Like, he suffered with a lot of self-doubt, but also so much love and so much humor. He just brought so much joy and awareness into my life. He was one of the most non-judgmental people I ever experienced. And so he was very welcoming to me as a person. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. His music carries on, and I know we have eternal souls, so I pray God rest his soul in heaven. But anyway, but he was, he talked about in different interviews how he was abused as a child, and also watched abuse happen around him. And so it's like, this can happen. And when you do that, you feel guilty that it's happening to other people around you, or you feel like it must be my fault. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And so what we do is we internalize that, and then we keep being attracted sometimes to this unavailable person. Because I asked one time in my own therapy, I was like, wait, they come available? They come like that? I thought I always had to run after someone like my father or whatever, unavailable, and try to fix him or try to just love him as an unavailable person who wanted to go to their own addictions or narcissism or whatever it was, instead of a real relationship. It's like, no, you are worth this. And what I found really, 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 and this is not made up, is the more you ask God to have a real relationship with you, the more you find out God is real. Just like if I play a song 100 times, I was talking about that in one of my other videos the other day. I start knowing like the inside of that song. It's like it just wakes up this knowing of the song because you've played it so many times. Well, this is like that verse, draw near to God and God will draw near to you. All right. And so I was asking myself, and I was looking at this for us too, is like, wait a second. If I'm this person here, or you're this person, and you keep trying to tap this person on the shoulder and go, hey, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. Why are you? And we're like, why are you going to this addiction? Turn back around so we can have this real relationship here on earth. It's like, let go of that person. Let's say if you're not married to them. If you're married to them, then there's a whole other set of, Jesus said the whole answer is take the log out of your own eye, and then you'll see clearly to remove the speck out of your brother. So that's what we're doing here, is we're looking at, wait a second. If there's this other part of me that looks in the mirror and says, I'm an adult, I can show up in a loving relationship with myself. I can be kind to this person. I can help heal these old wounds. You're being love. It says when we love, we know God, because God is love. And so you're bringing love to this person of yourself. It says, yeah, beloved, let us love one another. And you're one of those one another's. For whoever loves, when we love not, beloved, let us love one another. For he that loveth not, knoweth not God, for God is love. I know it from a song when I was a kid. So I'm like, God is love. Beloved, let us. And so when you love, you know God. You know how God's nature is, because God's nature is always loving. And so you're engaging in this experience of real love. So it's like, oh, what is my love going to do? Well, this adult part of you was going, hold on, I'm going to try to give you scraps. Let me keep trying to talk this unavailable person into showing back up. All right. And so it's like, you don't have to talk any of them into it. This is the good thing. You can turn back around. You turn back around and be a better man than your father. Like, that was from a TV show I used to watch. And he used to say it in Latin or something. I watched a show called Fringe, Fringe, but it's not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody, but it wakes you up to some of what's going on. But anyway, so you be a better man than your father and mother. You come back in a relationship of love, and then you teach yourself you are worth loving. You are worth being here because you're treating yourself according to what is true, according to what is true. All right, and so. There's one verse. This is an obscure type of verse, but it's so awesome because God was showing me a vision today, and I'm sharing it with you guys for a moment. Let me see what 30 when um uh okay, I told my kid I would leave in a couple minutes, so I have a few more minutes. And so I didn't get to look up the reference for this, but I think it's in the Psalms because they made a song of it. But someone was reading it from this book I was listening to from the 1600s. St. Francis de Sales wrote this book, but it's called The Introduction to the Devout Life. And so I got it free on my Audible. But there's this quote, there's this verse that says, "Better to be a doorkeeper in my Father's house than to dwell in the tents of the ungodly." And this is what downloaded this whole message for us today is a house is a permanent dwelling place, okay? And so instead of chasing after these unavailable people or chasing after our own addictions to keep making us temporarily feel high because we're depressed and anxious because we don't know our heart, it says guard your heart above all else, Proverbs 4:13 or something, for it is the wellspring of life, 4:23. It's in Proverbs 4, but when you know that you're worth this, then your heart can come out. You don't have to spend this energy depressing yourself anymore. A lot of us don't realize we're depressing our own selves as a form of protection. It's like an addiction that we go to. I know I was depressed for a long, long time. All right. And so it's like better. Okay. So what I saw, because this man that was teaching from the 1600s was saying, that Jesus is the main person that could have said that verse. Now, King David wrote it, and Jesus is in the lineage of David. So this is a mystery. So enter this mystery with me, right? He says, better to be a doorkeeper. And Jesus said, I am the door. I am the way. And so if Jesus is at the door of his Father's house, so Jesus is already here at the door of God's house. And he's standing there. He says, behold, I stand at the door of your heart and knock. Whoever will open to me and let me in, I will come in and dine with you. I will live with you. I will have this intimate connection. If you've ever been, I've been to Greece and to Europe and all these places in the East. They have these grand meals, and you're spending time with the person. It's not like in America where it's like let's watch a TV show and talk for 15 minutes. It's like, and so it's like this invitation to real intimacy. That's in the book of Revelation when Jesus says that. But this verse is in the Psalms, and it says, I can say it, and King David could say it, and Jesus said it. As Jesus is a doorkeeper, he died on the cross so that you could come back into the perfect Father, so that your sins could be forgiven. It's easy as ABC. Ask God into your heart. These new people that haven't considered religion before, ask God into your heart. Believe that Christ died for your sins because we're not perfect, right? And so he makes us perfect. By his blood, by his wounds, we are healed. It says he took the curse, all of the curse of sin upon himself. And that way life could come back to us. And then confess, yes, I have sinned. And I confess Jesus Christ as Lord. Be Lord of my life. Teach me these things. Or it's as simple as that. Now ask God to keep directing you. And I'm here on this channel, so you can ask me stuff too. But better to be a doorkeeper in my Father's house, in this permanent dwelling, this Creator's house, this permanent dwelling, than to dwell in the tents. Like, even if you're having a party in all these tents, tents are temporary, they're movable. The tents of the ungodly, those that are not connected, they're just not connected back with God. It's like if your vacuum cleaner, you want to vacuum your house and it's not plugged in, it's not connected to the source. Jesus said, I am the vine, you are the branches, remain in me. And all of this love flows out of God to us, all of this power. For God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. All right, so God wants to give us all this love and teach you about your worth. And I'm so happy that, like, even if it was for 50 people today that came through here, or 1,000 people that see this, or whomever see it, like, I want you to know that your life matters and you matter. and God wants to heal this. And I agree with this verse. I'm like, yes, I saw myself going, yeah, I'd rather just be a doorkeeper at this palace. And then I saw Jesus next to me. It was the sweetest thing. Oh, it's the sweetest image. So that's a personal image to me. Here's an icon, but it's like Jesus is next to me because he is this door, and he has this burning heart for us, of love. And so we're next to him, and it's better to be at this door, like welcoming people in to this permanent house, than go party with all these people in these tents that are just going to fall away, and they're just empty, and they just leave us chasing and chasing and always feeling like we're not worth when we are worth. All right. I wish you so much love. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I wish you so much love.